If you're new, hi, my name is Andrea. If you're not new, hey y'all. I know it's been a minute, okay, but life been life and like I'm sure it has for everybody. So, all that matters is we're back together now, right? To learn and to grow together, expand our knowledge. Right. Okay. So anywho, welcome back. Today, we are going to be talking about one of the most feared lakes in the United States, which is crazy because it's also one of the most visited lakes in the United States. Anywho, so today we are going to dive literally and figuratively into the history of Lake Lanier. I think that's how you say it. In northern Georgia. It's a man made lake and it's caused quite a stirring amongst the peoples, okay? Rumors of it being cursed, rumors of it being haunted, all of the things that we like to discuss here on Did You Know History's Mysteries. So let's get into it. So before Lake Lanier existed, it was actually a thriving farming area, farming town, I guess. Um, that was made up predominantly of Native people of the area and African Americans. And you could kind of say that it was just a thriving overall area for people of color. While there were a lot of towns, the most known, or I guess popular town was Oscarville, which was a bigger, I guess, considering farming town of predominantly African Americans. And they were doing well for themselves in Oscarville. They had their own schools, churches, businesses. Um, it was kind of giving like small farm town vibes of like the Black Wall Street of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, that's kind of what this neighborhood, based on my research, it was giving that type of energy, right? But per usual, tragedy struck in 1912 when a white woman said that two black boys from this small farming town of Oscarville assaulted her. Did it actually happen? I don't know. Probably not because, I'm just going to go based off of like Emmett Till. It probably didn't happen. It was, but we ain't going to get into that. Anyways, so 1912, tragedy struck. Similar to, like the story of Emmett Till, once this white woman accused these two black boys, teenage boys of Oscarville, um, racial violence exploded and a white mob ensued upon Oscarville and drove over 1,000 black residents from their town. Um, Homes were burned, businesses were burned, things were stolen, violence just out the wazoo, basically. Um, so yeah, you could just say that the city of Oscarville probably held some deep rooted trauma. Fast forward to the 1940s and 1950s, the US government decided that they wanted to make a reservoir to basically get hydroelectric power. And what better place to do it than, you know, a rundown, abandoned Black community? I'm sure there were some people that stayed. I think I did see that some families continued to stay there. It just wasn't what it used to be once upon a time. So once the US government decided to use this land for hydroelectric power and recreation for the nearby city of Atlanta, they got the Army Corps to go there and basically begin demolition. They destroyed structures to make this land. However, there were a lot of things that they couldn't get to. So they went ahead and flooded the area, over 50,000 acres. with water to create this lake, leaving behind cars, trees, businesses, buildings, graves, tools, all everything that a modern little farm town would have was left behind and still exists to this day under Lake Lanier. Divers today report eerie feelings when they dive into the lake just because simply at the bottom is still basically in a town, right? There's reports of, cars still down there, foundations still being there covered in algae, but clearly recognizable. Trees, large trees still rooted now down at the bottom of this lake into the lake bed. Um, Boats still upright as if, waiting for somebody to come out and take their boat out. Whole businesses, whole churches. Mm. What an eerie feeling. Lake Lanier has gained quite a reputation for mainly one thing and one thing only, and that is the large number of deaths and accidents that take place at this lake. But one of them is more talked about than the rest, possibly. And this is the Lady of the Lake. In 1958, a car of two women in it was driving over the bridge and went over a bridge into the lake and were quite literally never found for over 30 years. Once they were found, it was confirmed that it was them by the skeletal remains that were still in the car, strapped in the car. And what's even crazier is their bodies were somewhat well preserved because of the cold water of the lake, even though it had been 30 years submerged in water. Because of the temperature, their remains were pretty These decent. Women, well, one of the women, became known as the Lady of the Lake, and there are reports of seeing her walk along the lake, just staring into the lake. And from here, the legend began to grow of hauntings, curses, and just all of the things. People who live near Lake Lanier or work nearby, such as divers or safety personnel, report some eerie stories. Some claim that they feel hands grabbing at their ankles while they're in the water. Others hear the sound of a boat engine and then turn around and there's no boat. Others claim to hear the tolling of a church bell, even though the church that was submerged under the water was not known to have a church bell. There are also stories of cold patches in warm water, equipment malfunctioning without any explanation, bells supposedly ringing, and ghostly figures seen from boats. Some locals even speak of Oscarville's curse, a belief that the land violated and flooded carries some unresolved energy. So, is Lake Lanier haunted? What do you think? Do you think it's just hearsay? Do you think it's just superstition? Either way, I still thought it was a really interesting story. I had never heard of such a thing happening. Like, I know that land is taken and used for repurposed for other things, but to flood an entire town with buildings still standing, and it's just wild to me. I'll put some pictures here because the pictures are absolutely crazy. And it just makes me wonder how many other lakes, are like this. Because I would have never thought. And now I'm like, what do you think? Do you think that it's haunted? Do you think that we're tripping? What do you think? I'm just curious. Let me know. Let me know in the comments, guys. But yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another episode. Not quite sure what that episode is going to be. So if you have any ideas, leave them down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. This is our first time back. So this one was a little all over the place, baby. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm getting my groove back. Okay. I'm getting back into it. So yeah, so yeah, just let me know what you think happened, what do you think I should do for the next episode, and if you think Lake Lanier is haunted or not. Let me know, guys. I love you guys. Let me know what you've been up to also, because like I said, life's been life for me. So let me know what y'all have had going on and we can chit chat. All right, bye guys.